Sitting upon my big round head are these. These are the Sennheiser HD 560S, and they are remarkable in two very particular ways. Two very enticing ways. Two very special ways. Two very another adjective ways. Firstly, they're tagged as reference grade headphones, what some might call studio headphones or audiophile headphones. And the two things I'm talking about do really set these things apart from most other headphones that carry those particular descriptors. Number one. They're open. Couldn't help myself with a Star Trek reference. They are open back headphones, which I've personally expressed a deep preference for in many years worth of headphone reviews and such. And number two, not making that joke, their price tag is comparatively inexpensive when compared to headphones usually aimed at the audiophile market. Hello again, I am Blunty. I would appreciate your interactivity on this video in the form of a thumb, maybe even a comment, maybe even go a step further, subscribe, bell, the whole shebang. Really helps with the algorithm of YouTube, and that's really, really evil. So, this isn't a review of these headphones because this is a sponsored video, and sponsored video and reviews don't go together because conflict of interest. But I'll tell you this much, if I were to produce a review of these particular headphones, let's just say I can imagine someone who looks a lot like me, sounds a lot like me, making a very glowing and praiseworthy review of these headphones. But let's do basics first. I called them audiophile headphones, studio headphones. What does that mean in real-world terms? Well, it means they're acoustically designed to deliver an extremely natural and accurate sound, what's called a reference sound. This kind of headphone, unlike pretty much every other kind of headphone out there on the market, does everything it can to avoid coloring the sound in any way whatsoever. So what you actually hear is true to what was recorded and what was developed in the studio at the mixing desk. You're hearing what the people who made what you're hearing wanted you to hear it like. Pretty sure that tracked. A lot of other headsets kick the hell out of the bass and try to make music sound club thumpy, and in doing so, they very often make a mud pie out of the mids and leave the highs thin and tinny, if there are any highs left at all. Except for a machine-produced hi-hat, which pierces deep into your brain and just strangles itself around your... Those of you who have purchased headphones endorsed by some, let's say repulsively rich has-been boomer rapper / producer know exactly what I mean about that boomy, muddy sound that just destroys anything worth listening to. The feature list highlights an all-new transducer with a high-strength magnet, which helps easily reproduce real bass, the way it was recorded, mixed and intended to be heard, without destroying the crisp definition of the mids and highs. The transducer membrane itself is some kind of new polymer to help it move back and forth in a highly linear fashion, which means a very tight control over its travel, which means a very high amount of clarity and definition. And as I opened with, they're open back. Depending on your personal preference for actual in-studio use at a big-ass mixing disc, this maybe isn't ideal. But for actually enjoying movies and music and all that kind of stuff at home, when you actually really care about the way stuff sounds, the open back gives the headset a very natural and open sound. Combine this with the, again, quite unusual for reference headphones, amazingly lightweight construction and gentle but secure fit, and velour earpads do make them one of the most ridiculously comfortable headsets that I've ever experienced for long-form listening. You can wear these things for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on end, and I have. And when you take them off, you don't feel like you've just taken off a pair of headphones. You know that when you wear a pair of headphones for a long period of time, you take them off and you still kind of feel them up here and around your ears? These, as soon as you take them off, you forget you ever had them on. That's how comfortable they are. I have been using them both as monitors when I'm video editing, but also as a field monitor when I'm out in the world with my camera doing microphone reviews and such, as I've been doing recently. Now, regular viewers around here may recognize this particular framing from a different video about a different Sennheiser product I was looking at not too long ago, but it seems appropriate to record this now because I am actually using these headphones for rechecking my recordings, because it is a video about a microphone I'm making right now, so I need to make sure that, there is no accidental sound issues, like I haven't forgotten to plug it in, or there was a particularly strong gust of wind that ruined a take or something like that, but it's all been fine. What I like about these, and this is a very, personal thing, some People like very enclosed earphones so they don't have any noise from the outside world. And certainly if you're working in a team, if you've got your sound engineer and your camera operator working separately, the sound engineer will often have closed headphones, so all he can hear is coming directly from the microphone. When you're a one person, run and gun, single one-man band kind of deal, I like to have that situational awareness. So with these, I can monitor my audio, know that the audio is not being biased in any way, because again, these are studio sort of monitoring headphones, so the audio is coming through as it should sound. It's not extra bassy or anything like that. So I can monitor, if there's a problem with the microphone, if someone's huffing in the microphone or there's an issue with the, whatever it is. But I can also be situationally aware, because if you're shooting and recording sound at the same time, you're one man, like I said, you need to be situationally aware. So if something's going on, you can hear it or see it. You need to be able to have that situational awareness. And that's what open back headphones do for me. And that's one of the reasons I like them so much. The other reason is when I'm streaming, for example, I use open back headphones because I like to be able to hear my own voice, except, not coming through foldback necessarily, because foldback is sometimes a little bit delayed. I'm lucky on my camera here, my Lumix camera, there's no delay at all, so it's not throwing me off. But when you're streaming, depending on what your computer's doing, sometimes there's a little bit of delay, and that can really throw you off. So I don't often use foldback to listen to my own voice when I'm streaming, but I do need to be sort of situationally, I do need to be able to hear my own voice and hear the timbre of my own voice and how loud I'm speaking, because if you're using isolating headphones, as you know, that whole, the old sitcom gag about someone yelling over the headphones, that's another reason I like open back headphones very much. And these sort of tick all the boxes I love from a really good set of open back headphones that I can use, for doing work, as it were. And I know I can rely on them to present my ears with the sound as it's properly recorded, the real sound that I'm dealing with. So any modifications, any judgments I make about the quality of that sound and about what's going wrong in the sound or what's going right in the sound, I know I can rely on. I don't have to sort of mentally compensate for, these headphones sort of boost the bass. And no, these just give you the real sound. And that's incredibly valuable. And of course, if you enjoy music before the default mixing technique was to compress the ever-living heck out of the dynamic range, then you're really going to appreciate these too, because when you're listening to music mixed properly, to account for a broad dynamic range, to give you lots of air and movement in what you're listening to, lots of range, well, these are going to do such a better job than most other headphones. The cable is unusually long too, 3 meters as a matter of fact, and quite unusually for headphones these days. On the other end of it is a 6.3mm jack, boomer jack. I haven't seen one of these since I was a kid, but they are still quite common in audiophile usages. But it does also come with a little adapter to go to the more standard 3.5mm headphone jack these days, and the one I grew up using. And it's a flexible one, which is so much more convenient and useful than those little stubby ones that just make the jack like that long and you can't plug it into anything without snapping it off and things like that. Yeah, they thought it through. The cable is also replaceable, so if you do manage to damage your cable or someone else damages it for you, you can, of course, replace it, and thus preserving the integrity and beauty and preciousness of your headphones that you've invested in. So if you do work with audio, or you just enjoy music more sophisticated and elegant and carefully produced than some vapid mess about moist body parts from someone so plastic and overproduced both in musical style and personal image they barely count as humanoid at all, then invest here. Classy without pretension. Precision without wallet-melting sticker shock. And with a brand so long-standing, employing a team of engineers so well-respected, the matter of trust in quality and reliability is a foregone conclusion at this point. Okay, so that last part did sound a bit pretentious, didn't it? Kind of out of character for me. Couldn't resist myself, though. Kind of fell into a groove there. Fair cop, though. But seriously, though, these are something special. For what you get, for the price you pay, for the experience you get, for a brand you can trust, for, something that's going to last. No brainer as far as I'm concerned. So, thank you very much for Sennheiser for sponsoring this video. Thank you, as always, to the patrons floating up above there who continuously support me. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.